My name is Yusuf, and today I'm going to be sharing a couple tips on how you should pick your GCSEs. The first thing you need to realize is that your teachers may have been lying to you. And let me explain. My school, for example, told us that the GCSEs are really important and that universities are going to take them into account pretty much as A-levels. But then when we actually finished GCSEs and reached A-levels, they told us that that wasn't necessarily true. The reason schools sometimes do this is because, think about it, the schools want their students to get as high grades as possible, so they're gonna keep telling them that they're really important to eventually motivate the students, right? And then some schools are private, so if they get really high grades, they can actually charge more. Maybe some public schools would get higher grants if their students do better. The second thing you need to know is that there is no such thing as an easy A star or an easy 9. This is pretty much true except in one very specific scenario, which is if you fluently speak a second language. For example, I speak Arabic, so it was very easy for me to take the Arabic GCSE. In fact, I even took it in year 8 and I pretty much didn't study and I ended up getting an A star. So if like me, you speak a second language very fluently, then I would say by all means take that GCSE. It will be an easy A star. But other than that, there's no such thing as an easy A star. Every single subject is difficult to get an A star in. That's why it's so highly looked at. Another thing you need to put into consideration is who you're taking advice from. In my experience, the best source of advice when it comes to picking GCSEs is the teachers that actually teach them, because not only have they probably gone through what you're going through right now, but they also have been teaching the GCSEs in some cases decades, so they know exactly the ins and outs of whatever they teach and the specification and all that, so go to them. Another group of people that you could take advice from is the people that you know in the year above, for example, because they're currently studying the GCSEs that you have questions about. And please avoid taking advice from your friends that are in your year, because they're in the same position as you. They know just as much as you, even though some people may want you to join the subject that they're taking so that they get some sort of social validation or social proof. But avoid advice from your friends because they know just as much as you. And there's a Stoic quote that says something along the lines of, the opinion of 1,000 men doesn't matter if none of them have any knowledge of the subject. And also on the topic of friends, you may feel drawn to a certain subject because a lot of your friends are taking it, and that's not always necessarily a bad thing, right? Let's say, for example, it's a subject that promotes healthy competition, maybe like art. If you actually join and you have a couple of friends that are taking that subject as well, that may push all of you to get a better grade overall. You know yourself best and you also know your friends best, right? So if you think that joining a subject where a lot of your friends are also taking it may distract you, then you would have to consider dropping that subject, because you'd end up not getting a good grade if you're getting distracted. So sit down and logically analyze the situation, right? Ask yourself, would it be beneficial for me to take this subject because a lot of my friends are taking it? If you go to the description below, you'll actually find a checklist that I've compiled that will help you decide whether you should take a certain GCSE. Just click the link and I'll send it to you for free. And the last thing you need to do is go around the school and ask for any specific requirements for taking A-levels. Now I know you're probably in year 9 right now, so choosing A-levels is 2 years down the future, but some subjects, or in some schools for example, you may need to take a certain subject in GCSE to take that same subject in A-level. I had to take computer science GCSE to take computer science AS and A-level. So for example, if you would be considering taking computer science in the future, then you would need to also take that into account when choosing your GCSEs. Another example is my school. They would have it so that you can't take math A-level if you didn't get above an 8 in GCSE math. And also don't write off a GCSE just because you know you're not going to be doing it in the future. From year 9, I was set on doing something related to computer science, so my initial GCSE subjects were computer science, triple science, and ICT, which is very, very STEM focused. But then a couple weeks later, I actually decided to drop ICT and pick up business instead, and it was honestly one of the best decisions I've made. Even though I'm not going into business, I learned a lot, and it was also something completely different because I'm not in front of the screen for 12 hours a week.